Hello, today is Wednesday, August 6, 2025. Once again, I'll be reading from the United Church of Christ Daily Devotional, taking a specifically Christian text and talking about it in everyday life. I think this is something that can be done with any sacred text, is applying it to everyday life, and you don't have to adhere to the particular beliefs of that faith tradition, but understanding what it might be trying to teach us and say to us today. The devotion I'll be reading from today is entitled A Time for Creeds, written by Mary Ludy. And Mary bases the devotion upon the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verses 15 through 18, excerpted from the New Revised Standard Version. Jesus said to them, "Who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but God in heaven." And then Mary writes, when Jesus asks who his disciples believe him to be, Peter declares, "You are the Christ." It's a truth claim, a creed, and Jesus likes it, which is instructive because many progressive Christians don't like creeds. We regard them as coercive, oppressive, divisive, and ultimately superfluous. Deeds matter, not creeds. Don't believe, we say, follow. Yet Jesus poses this creedal question precisely to his followers. Who am I to you? Why am I worth your loyalty, your activism, your life? What do you believe? Just by asking, he challenges our mantra that following is enough. Clarifying and confessing beliefs matter too. If we don't, we cede creeds to the powerful and the cruel. Theirs will be the only truth claims the world hears. We may not like creeds, but everyone has one. Some are demonic, corrosive, and distorted, and more willing to persecute than any historic Christian creed has ever been. So what's ours? You, Jesus asks, what do you say is real? What matters to you ultimately? On what ground do you stand? Jesus isn't alone in asking. All the victims of this current oppression also want to know. They need to hear our faith, clear, bold, public, communal, repeated, untiring, and hell-rattling with conviction. Injustice is tenacious and routine. Professing our creed should be too. Aspiration, testimony, protest, and praise. This we believe, not that. And then Mary's prayer. Holy Spirit, give us grace, clarity, and a strong common purpose to testify in word as well as deed against the powers that are killing us. Lots of things went through my mind as I was reading this, one of which is that specifically the United Church of Christ is a non-creedal tradition, which means in a way that we don't have a creed that you have to believe in order to belong to the United Church of Christ. Yes, there are historic creeds that are included in the documentation of the denomination, but it's not a requirement that you believe and adhere to those creeds. Because interestingly, those creeds profess things about Jesus, not necessarily about what he stood for, who he was, how he lived, how he taught people to live in community. And what has happened is, and Mary kind of alludes to this, is over the years people in power, empire, took those creeds and adopted them and professed that people needed to believe in those in order to be saved in the next life, and if they didn't believe, they were persecuted, killed even. Wars were fought over what people believed about Jesus, not necessarily following him, or understanding the creeds behind the creeds he followed in his life and how he taught. And really, honestly, each of us has a creed that governs our life on how we treat people. It's the guidepost in our lives, what we believe about our responsibility for one another, for ourselves, for community, for care of creation. Even though it may not be a stated creed, there's something within us that guides our actions and everything with that we do. And it might be worthwhile to take the time to sit down and think through what is your creed? What is it that drives you? What is it that governs how you care for other people in this life? because I think that's really the beauty of creeds. It's not about stating things that people have to adhere to in order to be saved for the next life, but rather in order to be saved in this life, to build community, to live in love, and understand that we are part of a greater system and are responsible for ourselves and for one another. Anyway, maybe you hear a little bit of what my creed is in those kind of statements. So, well, I agree with Mary that a lot of progressive Christians don't like creeds, but the reality is we all have them within ourselves. But I think progressive Christians don't like creeds that subvert, oppress, are cruel, and that can be used by people in power to control others, rather than in creating a world in which we all can live and prosper as best we can. My thoughts for the day. Hope that gives you something to think about. Hope to talk to you again soon.